Hey guys, this is me Raj Kishore Ranjan. This is my second lecture over dynamic programming part 2. This is about me. I am computer science and engineering graduate from IIT Patna. For any rate review and recommendation, you are most welcome. You can follow me on unacademy.com/user/Raj Kishore Ranjan. So let's start today's lecture. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about the concept of dynamic programming. We have already discussed that it solves main problems by combining the solution to subproblems. It solves each subproblem just once and save the result of each subproblems. Okay. Dynamic programming applies when the subproblems overlap. That means when subproblems share subproblems. Think about the recursion tree diagram for finding the nth Fibonacci number. This for n is equal to 6. Let's try to think about it. This is our main problems. This will be break into two subproblems, Fib5 and Fib4. Fib5 again will break into two parts, Fib4 and Fib3. Fib4 will break again into two parts, Fib3 and Fib2. So what we are seeing here, we can see these subproblems Fib4 and Fib4 multiple times here. That means we can see also the subproblems Fib3 multiple times also here, this one here and this one here. So here Fib3 is the subproblems of subproblems Fib5. Also Fib3 is the subproblems of subproblems Fib4. So what we are seeing here, these subproblems has been shared their subproblems. So this is nothing but the concept of overlapping subproblems. So whenever we use the concept of dynamic programming, or for developing the concept of dynamic programming algorithm for any problems, we have to use this sequence of 4 steps. First of all, we have to characterize the structure of an optimal solution. If you think about for finding the nth Fibonacci number, then the sequence would be 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55 and so on. Except the first and 0th and first term, every term is the sum of its first two preceding term. This is nothing but the character of the main, a character of the structure of the main problem. Okay. Now, whenever characterize the structure of an optimal solution, we need to recursively define the value of that optimal solution. That means if we think about the nth term of the sequence, then except the first 0th and first term, the nth term would be n minus 1th term, sum of n minus 1th term and n minus 2 terms for all n greater than equal to 2. This is and the base case is nth term is equal to 0 if n is equal to 0 and nth term is equal to 1 if n is equal to 1. This is nothing but the pseudo code of this recursively defined structure. So these are the first two steps. Whenever we clear these two steps, we compute the value of an optimal solution. Okay, we compute simply the value of optimal solution by using top down or bottom up approach. We have already discussed about it in our first lecture for finding the nth Fibonacci number. Now the fourth step is construct an optimal solution from computed information. That means if we need to construct the optimal solution, that means we need to find the construction of optimal solution. How can we get that optimal solution? Then we need the fourth step. Otherwise, if we have already find only the optimal solution, that means the last result, then we can get the last result from by using the third step. There is no need to go for fourth step. These are the sequence of 4 steps we need to use whenever we will developing a dynamic programming algorithm for solving any problems. So let's discuss further. How can we justify here the problem is how can we justify the problem required dynamic programming algorithm concept? So there are two main properties we need to find in the problems. Whenever we saw these two properties, then we can use the concept of dynamic programming algorithm. The first concept is overlapping subproblems, as we have already discussed about it previously. In this case, the solution of subproblems needed again and again. In dynamic programming, what we are trying to do, we store the result of each computed subproblems in a table, mainly in array or a matrix. Okay, and try to use those stored value of a stored value of subproblems. Okay, in dynamic programming, in Diffie is not useful when there is no common or overlapping subproblems. That means if we think about binary search algorithm, Then in binary search algorithm, the main problems will break into two sub-problems, but there is no overlapping sub-problems there. So there is no need to use the concept of dynamic programming algorithm in binary search algorithm. Those who don't know about binary search algorithm, I will discuss about it in my further lecture. Okay. And the second property in the problem is optimal substructure. The meaning of optimal substructure there is that we need optimal solution of the given problem by using optimal solution of its sub problems. Let's try to understand the meaning of this line by the problem statement. The problem statement is that there are many cities between two city A and B. If you think about this problem, there are many cities between two city A and B, and we need to find the shortest distance between these two cities. How can we find? Let's have approach toward this solution. Okay, toward the solution of this problem. Let's if if a city X lies between in the shortest path from city A to city B, then the shortest path from city A to B is the combination of shortest path from city A to X and shortest path from city X to B. That means if you think about the optimal substructure, structure of the main problem for finding the shortest path from city A to B, then this optimal structure is the combination of the optimal substructure of the shortest path from city A to X and shortest path from city X to B. We simply find the sum. We find the shortest path from city A to X and shortest path from city X to B. Sum of for and find the shortest path from city A to B. So this is the concept of optimal substructure. We can see here. Now, whenever we use the concept of dynamic programming, we try to store the result of sub problems in dynamic programming. How can we do this? There are two approaches we have already discussed. The first approach is top-down method, and the second is bottom-up. So let's discuss about top-down method in a great detail. What we are doing the top-down method, we store the result of sub-problems in the memory whenever we solve the problems for the first time, and next time we simply do a lookup. Okay. It is similar to the recursive version with a small modification that it looks into a lookup table, generally array or matrix, before computing solutions. Okay. If the pre-computed value is present in the lookup table, then we return that value. Otherwise, we calculate the value and put the result into lookup table so that it can be raw later in case of overlapping subproblems. Okay. Let's think about this by using this code. This is the code for finding the nth Fibonacci number. I have implemented this code by using memoization or top-down method. If you think about this code, there are two functions, main function and fibint function. Here we have created a dynamic, a global array, fibnum max. In the main function, we have initiated. In the main function, if you think about this, in the main function, we simply initiated all the element of fibnum should be equal to -1 and try to store the result of all sub problems in this array. So whenever we call this function fibint, what we are doing, what this function has been done, whenever it will be called, first it first of all check the array and check the array either the result of this function has been stored in the table or not. If it has been already stored, then simply return the result of that table. Otherwise, otherwise it will try to calculate the result of fibint. Okay, if we think about this part, then here the first four line is simply the calculating the base cases, and in this line it will call the function fibn-1 and fibn-2 and try to find the result of this function and sum up and store the result of this function into the table and simply return the value of that, return the result of that table or result of this fibint. Okay, so this is nothing but the top down approach, or this is also called a memoization approach. The second approach is bottom up, that means tabulation. In bottom up approach, according to the name, it starts to solve the problems from the bottom, that means from the base state, and cumulating ascent to the top, that means the most desired state. It pre-computed the solution in a linear fashion and stored the result in a table. If you think about this code, here we are using the concept of bottom up. Here we use the concept of bottom up for finding the nth Fibonacci number. In the main function, we simply call the function fibn here. And if you think about this function, fib int n. Here we created an array fib num n plus 1, and by using this for loop we try to find the nth Fibonacci number from bottom up fashion. Then that means first of all we are trying to calculate the base cases. That means the 0th Fibonacci number, the first Fibonacci number, and then second Fibonacci number, and so on. We try to find at the end nth Fibonacci number by using this result, and simply at the end we simply return the fib num n, which is nothing but the nth Fibonacci number. So this is the bottom up approach. Here we are computing the solution in a linear fashion. Okay, now let's have a look over the difference between top down and bottom up. In bottom up approach, we start from the smallest instance size of the problems and iteratively solve bigger problems using solution of the smaller problems. Okay, but in top down method we start from the original problems and solve it by breaking it down into sub problems. Here we use the concept of recursion. Okay, when we have to solve sub problems, we first check in a lookup table to see if we already solve it or not. If we did, we just read it off and return value without solving it again. Otherwise we solve it recursively and save result into the table for further use. So these are nothing but the difference between bottom up and top down, where we can use this concept whenever we can use this concept of dynamic programming algorithm. Okay, so this is all about dynamic programming algorithm concepts. In my next video lecture, we will discuss more problems, and we can use the concept of dynamic programming to solving those problems. So must watch my all lectures. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.